Good morning. Good morning. Another week, week 14. Just with quick recap of week 13 versus Jets. Overall, it was a clean game for us. The objective going in is, those guys really thrived off of turnovers, penalties, and so we managed to play a good, clean game for the most part. Protected 100% on ball security. 100% on kick security. It was good to see G Money back on track, going 2 for 2 on the field goals, 3 for 3 on the extra points. But that's the expectation every week, quite honestly, and kind of moving forward. That's what we expect of him. I know he'll get the job done. No true return opportunities. That was kind of anticipated going into the game, especially coming off of what we did versus New England. And so with that, overall it was a good game. Mr. Wright I thought he had a really good game, just in terms of playing the hitting yardage, field advantage game. He's continued to have a really, really good year in his rookie season as he continues to progress and excel in his role. We consider him to be a weapon. And so, look forward, obviously, going into week 14. I think the biggest thing for us going into week 14, especially as coaches, is really just resisting the urge to be on autopilot. And what happens a lot is in this league is things start to become really monotonous. 13 weeks, kind of the same exact deal, same practice, same meeting schedule. And so with that guy, you kind of get into a cruise control, autopilot type of feel. And so it's on us as coaches to truly challenge these players more so from an above the neck standpoint rather than from a physical standpoint. Obviously, we have a more older team, so we have to protect those guys, making sure they have their optimal prime selves and ready to go win football games. And, looking at it, we played some really good football to set ourselves up for these games in December to truly matter. I've been on teams as a player to where, you're in December and quite frankly, your season is over. So you are on autopilot because you're 2-10 or 3-9 or whatever the case may be. And so for us to have an opportunity week 14 to be facing a tough division opponent going on the road when we have been on the road almost a month, to have the opportunity to go win a division, that says a lot about, our preparation and what we've done leading up to this point, and for us to be able to go in with the ultimate challenge of accomplishing the goal that we, set forth at the beginning of the year. Questions?
It's like Joseph's getting extra work, or at least he's been in there when we go in there for the interviews.
Yeah.
Has it paid dividends, and is he focused on something, or is it more like repetition?
Yeah, so, quite honestly, the thing is we have to get in there early. We always get work in Wednesdays and Thursdays, but with us not being able to practice outdoors and is only limited indoor field space, we just get our work in prior to everyone else coming out. And so, we kind of just been sticking with the same exact routine and really just kind of dialed in and just staying true to the process for the most part. I think, really the mechanics and all this and that it is what it is at this point in the season. So we're just really fine-tuning. It's just making sure we're very intentional about each and every kick, making sure that we're just not going through the motions and being very intentional about every single kick truly does matter. And we try to make it as game-like as possible.
Now, with those 2 outdoor games in Green Bay and Chicago at the end, will you guys go back outside to get ready for kicking in cold weather?
Yeah, definitely. That'll have to be something, Ben, that we'll have to go back outside and make sure they clear off the field and maybe even leave a little bit of snow out there to kind of see what that looks like. But yeah, that'll definitely be the plans, to go back outside with those 2 road games at the end of the year, because that's definitely going to play a huge factor in, the ball movement and kicking in that type of weather.
Man, how different do you feel as a coach from when you first got here, first game? Detroit was what, third game of the year?
Third game of the year, yeah.
Just how much have you grown since then?
I would say quite a bit, quite honestly, from a schematic standpoint, how I coach my guys. I try to stay as consistent as possible in that, but, with that consistency, obviously comes a little bit of adjustments, a little bit of tweaks here and there. And so I've just been continually, I think the biggest thing that I've been leaning on is just trying to find ways to keep guys engaged in the meeting rooms from a week-to-week basis. As again, a lot of things start to become really monotonous, and so I just want to make sure I'm challenging those guys in the meeting room. I talk a lot about two-way flow of communication, where I'm not always in there and they just listen to me for 30, 40 minutes, just talk, and I'm not getting too much response from them. And so I'm big on two-way flow of communication, and where these guys are staying engaged, asking me questions, challenging me. I've always been a huge component of the why behind every and anything that we do, whether it's the drills, the schematics, techniques and fundamentals that we're working on. And so I always ask those guys to truly challenge me, and they've been doing a great job of doing that. And because of it, we've seen a lot of success because of that connection and chemistry that we are having.
What's a good example of something you came up with to liven up the meetings, I guess, a little bit and keep?
Yeah, so one thing that I've done is I've actually allowed players to kind of take control of the meeting. So once we, got into week 6, week 7, and where guys truly understand the rhythm and flow of how meetings go, I'm a big component of, okay, well, let's see some ownership start to take over from you guys. So I allow a guy like Andrew DePaula to run a punt meeting, or allow a guy like Josh Metellus to run a punt meeting, just to see how does he respond. Is he seeing the same exact thing that I'm seeing? And another aspect of it is I'm big on teaching guys how to watch film, because quite honestly, when I came into this league as a rookie, second-year player, I didn't truly understand or know how to watch tape. What am I looking at? Am I just buzzing through, just looking at players? Am I looking at alignments? Am I looking at depth of a player? What exactly is it that's going to allow me to gain those, those inches or positive impacts on the football field that's going to allow me to be able to have that edge on my opponent that allow me to win those one-on-one matchups? And so, through gaining ownership in the meeting room, guys are able to pick up tidbits here and there, or Mattel is able to ID what exactly, how do we know a certain rush is coming? And so with that, allowing those guys to kind of take ownership in that meeting room is how, guys are able to learn how to watch tape. And not only that, but have a lot of respect for their teammates in that setting, because, I'm also big on public speaking is another thing where, it's easy for a guy like Josh Metellus to go speak in front of 10,000 people that he doesn't know, but to get in front of a room of all your peers who you spend hours on end with, that's very difficult to do. And a lot of people, quite frankly, are, got fear of public speaking. And so I like to put those guys out in front of their peers and in front of, to have an opportunity to speak in front of their peers and, get comfortable with public speaking, because it's all a part of it.
What has been your perspective of Jalen Reagor and just him integrating with this team and what he's done, obviously on special teams, but also offensively this past week?
Yeah, I think JR is truly starting to finally come into his own. He's starting to see a little uptick more in snaps, starting to get a lot more comfortable and confident in the offensive playbook. Coach K.O. West have started doing an unbelievable job of factoring him into the game plan. And so you see that, and he's starting to grow as a player. His teammates are really starting to wrap their hands and arms around him and accept him and love on him. Because, it's a difficult situation when you are a first-round pick and, things don't work out at your original organization and you come to a new organization. And so with that, you kind of lean on your teammates, and we have the right culture and the right guys here who allow him to be himself and allow him to open up and feel comfortable about what his position is. And, you're starting to see it. He's made plays most recently in the New York Jets game. That was a huge momentum swing in the football game. You'll start to see a lot more of those plays start to stack up as they start to really filter them into the offensive plan. And again, it's going to come as these games start to come on down the line. JR is going to start to have huge impacts, not only from a pressure return standpoint, but also from an offensive standpoint. But he's definitely grown mentally, I would say, is the biggest thing for him, where his studies, his preparation, you're starting to see him a lot more involved, talking with Kirk, getting in the ear of Thielen, surrounding himself around those veteran players. And so that's encouraging to see.
What's been your observation about how he's handled that personally, though? When you look at the snap count numbers just over the course of the season, I know he's been the punt returner, but overall he's kind of hardly played. Yeah,
exactly. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating, quite honestly. Kevin, it's a frustrating event, and JR I can say, is a very mature player. And it's only mature players who's able to handle that type of stuff to where you can get frustrated and you can't get down about it. But all you ever seen this guy do is smile, be proud, and happy for his teammates, KJ Osborne, who are out there making plays, because Coach Keenan has done an unbelievable job of preparing JR and having him understand that his time is going to come. And, you know, while we did make the trade for you, nothing is going to get handed to you. And I think that's something that he also had to learn and realize, like, you know, although you might be a first-round pick, like we're not, you know, we have a good thing going here. And if you want to have an opportunity to make plays in this offense, well, you got to earn it on a daily basis. And so you're starting to see that uptick in how he's going about his preparation, how he is leaning on those veteran guys so that when his time does come, he answers a call.
Matt, when you're scouting guys that might be good special teamers, are there other sports in their background that you look at if you see something they've done growing up that makes you think, hey, this
Yeah,
could translate well?
absolutely. You know, you can look at baseball shortstops where you start talking about changing direction, what their movement skills look like. I think that's probably the biggest thing that you do look at. I'm always big, you know, multi-sport athletes, basketball, football. I mean, that says a lot about what your athleticism truly does look like, maybe how you're built from a mental and physical standpoint. So absolutely, yeah, you definitely look at the sports background for sure.
Now, was there a moment, whether it's in the spring or the summer or sometime this season, where you saw Ryan Wright and you were like, this guy has the tools to be one of the best punters in this league?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that took place during the early evaluation phase, March, April, of when we truly started dialing in and looking in. You know, obviously, when I was a rookie, I came in with Johnny Hecker, who you know, was an undrafted guy, but he also had the physical tools and the leg talent to be a true premier punter in this league, but he also had the arm to do it as he was a former quarterback. And so just kind of coming from that John Bones fossil lineage, that's kind of the same thing that I was seeking and searching for. And so, you know, I did my research on trying to find guys who I felt like had the leg talent, because, you know, you can coach a guy up on how to punt a football, if we're being quite honest, but it's hard to teach a guy on how to throw the football. And so when you kind of add the combination of a leg talent but also have the arm talent as well, well, now you start talking about a punter truly being a weapon that opens it up for the punt team and kind of allow you to, you know, be a top 10 punt unit in this league, quite honestly.
What's the common thread in the Fossil special teams coaching tree?
Say it again.
What's the common thread in the John Fossil coaching tree for special teams?
I would say probably the biggest thing is your versatility and your courage. Yeah, that's what we lean on heavy. If you want to be an elite special teams player in this league, you got to be versatile in your role, and you got to have a lot of courage, because you know, some maniacs out there who truly are trying to kill you, if we just being quite honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's special teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, not meant for the weak.
Any other questions?
Carly's like, wrap it
Yeah,
up.
okay.
Cool. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, everyone.